Welcome to the episode 11 Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, I'm going to be recapping the finale. Yes, the finale of season 1 of Destination X. This show was one of my favorite new reality TV shows in recent time, just based on the sheer fact, the travel aspect of things, getting these people on the show, living in this bus. It's like a mixture of Big Brother and the Mole all wrapped up into this bus. And it's very, very exciting to talk about the finale. I actually sat down and spoke with Andy Cadman, who is the showrunner of Destination X. I talked to him about bringing this entire show to life with forming the maps, understanding the aspects of the show that they needed to, casting, and so much more. So it's a great interview. We even talked about Jeffrey D. Morgan hosting the show, which he's been brilliant on this show. But without further ado, let's jump into this finale. Let's put our big screen up. We are in our finale, and folks, we are down to our final three: Biggie, Peter, and Rick. However, we see them walk into this castle-like environment where the guys are sitting amongst photos of their fallen castmates. Jeffrey announces there's only going to be 2 people hunting down Destination X. He will ask them about their time throughout the show. If they get a question right, they can move forward or send someone back. When the clock goes off, the game is over. The person furthest away will be out of the competition. Man, it would suck to get this far only to lose. You know what I'm saying? Like it would be painful for me. It would just be absolutely positively painful for me. And obviously it comes to fruition for one of these individuals. And this was interesting how this unfolded. So Rick got the first question right. He moved Biggie back a spot. Second question, Biggie sends Peter back 2 spots. Rick gets it right, moves Biggie back as well. Biggie gets it right, moves up 2, but Peter gets it right, moves Biggie back 2, followed by Rick doing the same. He is saying he's blindsided by this moment. My only thing about him saying he's blindsided in this moment was the sheer fact, did you forget that this man lied to you about what was in your box at the last competition? That to me, I was kind of surprised that he said he was blindsided, because in that moment, how can you be blindsided? Because that was when he was telling you lies right then. Now he's kind of oblivious. I understand that. Rick got it right, moves Biggie back again. Biggie says he feels targeted, but Rick feels like he had a better chance against Peter in the finale. Fifth question, Biggie sends Peter, got it right, sends Peter back 3 spots. Rick sends Biggie back 3 spots. Now, this is where Jeffrey gets interesting, because I would love to find out if in this moment, if like it was a question that was chirped into his ear, or he was just calling it out as he saw it. He calls out whether or not there's like an alliance, or if he's scared of facing Biggie in the finale. And Rick decides to stand tall in that moment and say, ever since Peter and Janae came on the bus, they were in a secret alliance. And Biggie was floored by this. Absolutely floored by this. But it all comes down to the 7th question. Rick has sent Peter back. Rick has to send Peter back 3 steps because there's no other moves. He couldn't move forward because he was at the front of the game, and he couldn't move Biggie back because Biggie was at the back of the game. So Biggie got his Peter didn't get his last question right, but Biggie did. He sent him back to the beginning with him, and we have a tie. 1 question, the person with the closest to the right answer would move on to the finale. So Peter was within 1. There was within 1 island. They had to guess how many islands it was. They were within 1 island of each other of it. Peter was 1 island closer than Biggie was, meaning Peter and Rick are heading to the finale. This scene was intense as hell, because it was like, man, you were rooting for Biggie, but also, like, if you're like me, man, I really love the secret alliance that came to fruition between these two, between Peter and Rick. And like I said from the beginning, like, Rick to me wasn't super duper on my radar, but as the show continuously progressed, I saw somebody with a man on the mission ready to win this competition, and he flipped that switch. And ever since then, he has been knocking it out of the ballpark. All right, now we're down to our final 2 with Peter and Rick. He has turned London into his own board game. The gents head into the cabs. They have 4 hours to figure out where the final destination X. They both solve all 3 riddles correctly. And now the time has come for each of them to figure out where they're going to place their final X. They get 3 clues, where Rick locks in Big Ben Tower, while Peter puts his on the Tower of London. this was an interesting scene because Rick initially was going to put it on the Tower of London, but started unpacking things, second guessed himself, and into picking the Big Ben. Now, this is where I thought like editing was like, oh man, the second guessing is going to end up costing Rick the competition, meaning Peter won. And it would have been interesting to see if they both would have picked Tower of London, how that would have unfolded. But to me, like I was like, man, I felt bad for Rick. I was like, Rick, man, he second guessed himself. There's no way that he did this. He's literally in the finale. So they sent Rick to the Big Ben, and they sent Peter to the Towers of London with the briefcase in front of them. And they opened the briefcase, and our winner of Destination X Season 1 was, in fact, Rick. Rick has won Destination X Season 1. What a well calculated, incredible gameplay by Rick. Now, this is going to be honest. Now, I've talked about how I wanted to see like Mac on the Traders. Rick is my next in line. I need Rick on season, I think five of the Traders, season 5 of the Traders. Put Rick on season 5 of the Traders, please, because that man, he played this game with precision. I'm telling you, it's like episode 4 or 5 where we saw that turning point from him. And from that moment on, it's just been balls to the walls. And congratulations to Rick on that big win. It was cool because even Jeffrey Dean Morgan got a little bit emotional. He said, I got a tear in my eye. He got a little bit emotional. Rick got emotional. Rick called his wife. This whole entire scene, I was like, I'm not crying, you're crying, because man, it was an emotional, just beautiful moment where he got to talk to his wife. And you could just tell that this win meant so much to this man. And it was just beautiful to see. And I'm so happy for Rick. You know what I mean? Because like, again, it was just so well deserved. So great gameplay. Of course, Peter is a little bit of a sad panda. And then it was we got a little montage of Jeffrey showing us like little subtle hints that he planted throughout the entirety of the season and what the final X would be. I thought that was really cool to see. Because I mean, obviously, if like in future seasons, like I would love to like just sit down and like play along, because I know that's kind of the aspect of the show that they were shooting for anyway. But like playing along the entire time, that'd have been so cool, because when you're watching it, it's such a different dynamic. But for me, this was an incredible first season. There's so many different avenues they can go. I mean, I think, because I'm not very like world geography here, but a season in like the US would be really cool because you could really play around with that. But there's so many different countries that you can battle it out in, so many countries that you can bring this unique experience to. And to be honest with you, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we do get a season 2 of this show, because it is well deserved. I know the ratings have been pretty solid, especially on the rewatchability on Peacock. If for some reason you stumbled across this podcast and have not watched this show, please do. Please rewatch it. Run up those numbers. Run them all up. Run up the numbers. Make sure that you're watching Destination X. And I really hope that we see some of this cast on the future shows. Like I said, I would love to see Mac on the Traders. Even Mac and Allie teaming up on like The Amazing Race. Give me Rick on the Traders. Biggie would be a fun character for the Traders. There's so many different shows that I would like to see. Put Shane on like The Challenge. I think that he would thrive on there. But yeah, this was an incredible first season. I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy how it ended. Folks, let me know what you guys think of the first season of Destination X in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for the continued support here and tuning in each and every week as I broke down this show. Thank you guys so much, and I'll be back breaking down something else in the very near future.